They're sweet.
Got some nice spoilers on them.
Yeah, we live, guys. What's going on? It's 10, 12, 22, October 12th. What's going on, people?
What's up?
Indeed.
There's something I want to say. I want to say that this topic, this was my idea, but these guys have gone crazy with it. so this may be the last time that you hear from me during this live, but I just wanted to take credit for the idea before I let them have it. All right, thank you.
Well, you know what? You're not wrong. I'm not going to be talking much about these cars either. We don't sell a lot of these. We don't sell a lot of exotic cars, but we would like to. And
yeah.
You know, let's tell them who we are. This is Auto Search USA. The podcast is called Hard-Earned Knowledge. Why? Because all this knowledge that we're bringing to you is what we have learned the hard way over 24 years of being in business and working together, growing as a team about vehicles, vehicle knowledge, finances when it comes to vehicles, leasing, all kinds of topics. It's hard-earned, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Most people learn their knowledge about cars in a dealership on a Saturday. So, like, after 20-something years, we're going to bring this stuff to you. Hopefully you find it interesting. If you want to comment, please drop it in the box. And if you have questions, as usual, let us know. We'll get back to you as fast as possible. My name is Ronnie Haskins. This is Marcus Morgan, Bonnie Simon, and Bobby Jones. So without ado, who wants to bring us in on what we're actually talking about today?
Exotic cars. Yeah.
Let's get it.
My favorite topic of the year so far. Man,
Sure.
I love me some cars, especially the exotics. Growing up, I spent countless hours playing video games with most of these cars in it. So I'm very, very excited to talk about these cars today.
Yeah, I would consider myself an enthusiast too. I like the luxury version of the exotic cars, but you can't understate the supercars that's on this list.
I can't get in and out of them.
I mean, either, probably.
But there's one I like. I'm going to find a picture that we can show a little bit later. I'm going to work on this in the background while you guys start this up. But, there is one that I like. It's just that I cannot get in and out of them very well. I'm too big for these sports cars.
And they're pretty low.
They're low to the
They're
ground.
Yeah, but so actually I do think we should start with what was here for the first part of the topic, which is how would you define what is an exotic car?
All right, let's bring up the banner. So
Yes.
What is an exotic car? What does that mean, Marcus?
Well, to me, exotic cars are typically imports from Europe or Asia that cost a little bit more than your average sedan from, Toyota or Honda or those kinds of companies. So when I talk about exotic cars, most of the time I'm talking about, your Ferraris, your Aston Martins, your Rolls Royces, your Bentleys. Those are kind of the start of the exotic brands. But when you really go into it, it's really just any car out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so does a Corvette qualify?
Absolutely. Well,
Some of them.
that's a good point. Some of them, I would say, when we're, I'm not sure how many people know the different variations of the Corvettes. What kind of, they start off. They started at the C1 and now they're at the C8. I classify the C8 Corvette as the brand new Corvette as exotic car because it's a mid-engine.
What does that mean?
So instead of the engine being in the front of the car, it's right behind the driver's seat
okay.
or behind the seats of the car.
This bad boy right here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it has a frunk, so the front trunk, like most of the electric cars, and then the engine is behind the passenger and the driver.
And this is an electric?
No,
No.
this
Oh,
is
this is not an electric.
No.
That's a dirty word.
I'm about to say the exotics are.
Sorry.
No, that car has a 6.2 liter V8 that pushes out almost 500 horsepower.
Wow.
I'm sure some of the electrics will end up on the list in the coming years.
Mhm.
Well, they're working on it.
Like gasoline cars.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything about these cars that like pulls them all together other than that they're unusual? Like, are they all, do they all have a lot of horsepower, or do they all, whatever?
Well, they're all high value. I would definitely put high value on them.
Yeah.
When I look at my list, I usually say unique and rare. I like to pinpoint some of the ones that they maybe only made 100 of them
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case may be. But usually in that category of vehicles, if they only made a few or they're a constant repetition of the same vehicle, but it's an amazing vehicle, they're very expensive. You can always put that on the list.
I would go as far as say, yeah, if you don't have any horsepower, over 300, it's
Yeah.
not an exotic.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, even when we're looking at even like the Rolls Royces,
The
and the
luxuries, yeah.
Bentleys, and the SUVs, like
That's
They're
exotic.
still up there.
luxury.
yeah, but it's still exotic, and most of those cars still have over 400 horsepower.
Yeah,
Well,
we
you got a good point. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about supercars, exotic cars, exotic luxury? Like what's the difference? Like,
Well-
the Rolls Royce is definitely going to have horsepower,
Mhm.
big price tag,
Yep.
and all kinds of luxury. But it's not a car you're jumping in.
And taken to the track.
You're not
Yeah.
touring around and going to the track like you.
Okay.
This guy goes to a track and races that blue C8. Well, it's a different
No,
car. But
no, not a C8.
what is it? A C6?
7.
C7. So yeah.
yeah.
But dude, you're not going to classify that with a Rolls Royce, though.
No, well, they all fall under exotic, I would
Exotics,
say. But there's different classes of exotics. Like for me, you've got premium performance, which is different than a supercar. Supercars typically have giant engines, over 600 horsepower,
Yes.
and are really lightweight with a bunch of aerodynamic technology and just
Are they street legal?
definitely street legal. Most people will drive them for about 12 miles and then, just keep them in the garage. But no, they are 100% street legal. And then, you got your regular exotic sports cars, which, when I talk about supercars are typically in a price range from 200,000 upwards. When we talk about like the exotic sports cars, most of those go from like about 150,000 to about 300,000. And then you have your premium performance cars, which typically start at around 60,000 and go into about 150,000.
The Maserati, the Levante, and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Toyota Supra, the Nissan 400Z, those are still technically exotic cars in my opinion, because they pack horsepower and a lot of aerodynamic technology.
We can talk about that next week when the topic is unusual cars from common manufacturers.
Yeah.
So that So actually, I got to ask though, like 600 horsepower. How much horsepower does like a jet engine have? I mean, how fast do these things go?
I don't know about jet.
I don't know
engines.
either.
Let's go look it up.
Should have
I mean,
researched that one.
I have no knowledge about how much horsepower a typical jet engine.
I can
Yes,
imagine
it's not your hobby.
it's got to be 5-10 times that.
How much
probably.
horsepower does a horse have?
And
I
will
think
they
the
like
answer is
take
like 15.
off? when they're-
1,341.
All right. so it's
One
gotta-
megawatt equals we're into Back to the Future language now.
Right.
One
Yeah.
megawatt
but I mean,
equals-
if a jet engine has 1,341 horsepower, that's half of that is about 650.
Yeah.
Wow.
And-
But check this out. 1 megawatt equals 1,341 horsepower. For an aircraft like a Boeing 777 with 2 engines, each engine produces roughly 23 megawatts.
So-
Okay, so it's way more.
Yeah.
than-
Like
31,000.
46 times.
Yeah.
31,000 horsepower.
Okay, so I don't need to worry about some of these cars taking off.
No.
No. Well, they,
Crazy enough.
That's a lot of
without the
horsepower.
aerodynamics.
Crazy enough. Le Mans prototype cars or LMP1 cars that do races like the 24 hours of Le Mans, the 24 hours of Spa, Daytona, all those races. There have been times where the car gets stuck to the ground solo due to ground effects and the horsepower. The front end of the car will literally lift up
Ooh.
and the car will fly.
It will fly, yeah.
For a short period of time,
very
but
short
it will
period of
Until
time.
it bursts into flames.
Right, yeah.
until it comes back to earth.
Yeah, they don't have landing gear.
Yeah, but that's honestly more aerodynamic
Right.
science than really the power behind it.
Okay.
It's when the cars actually take off like that, it's mostly because of ground effects and aerodynamic.
Speed, yeah.
Okay, so then my next question is just so people can compare, like, what's the horsepower in a typical car?
About 200.
Okay, so
Mhm.
200 versus 600, that's a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the SUVs like RAV4s and CRVs, they're like 185.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so when you get, I've always talked to you guys about it. Once you go over 300, like the 350Z or the 400Z now, how much horsepower does your car have?
My car has 230 horsepower.
It needs a chip. But like
Yeah.
once you hit 300, it's a different ballgame.
GR86 is
But-
his car.
Yeah. But when we talk about power too, there's a very important thing that goes into it, which is weight. A power to weight distribution is very key when we're talking about how fast a car can go. Because if a car has, 800 horsepower, but it's 12,000 pounds, it's not going to go very fast.
Pounds of torque matters as well.
Torque
Right.
is what you feel, like is what your body
Boom, that
feels when you
throwback.
take off.
Yeah.
Horsepower in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. You know, I much rather look at torque and weight.
Okay.
But power is still it's relevant, but not as relevant as torque, because torque is what your body feels.
That's why it was so crazy when the new electric Hummer came out and it's got 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Yes.
No, it's 11,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Whee!
It's
So
like
what's typical?
400
Yeah.
for like for
Yeah.
trucks.
Yeah, for trucks that pull like 10,000 pounds, you're looking at about 475
Okay.
foot-pounds of torque.
But when that thing dropped, it was like 11.2, and it was crazy amount of torque
That's
Yeah, I mean,
for like 30 yards.
one of the and so one of the supercars on the list that I have on my list is a McLaren Senna that has 790 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque.
I'm gonna see if I can find pictures when you talk about these things. We do have McLarens in our list here, so go ahead.
But yeah, and that only weighs 3,000 pounds. So it's light, it's got a lot of power and a lot of torque. And that's, in my opinion, the best supercar on the market right now. They're very rare, so classifies as exotic. I mean, it's named after a McLaren Formula One driver who passed away way
a
back
car
in the
accident?
yes, in a Formula One race
right.
at Imola. His name was Ayrton Senna. He's a 3-time world champion.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the car was named after him, and it has adaptive aerodynamics to where the wings will move as you drive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really ridiculous car. And you know, when you look at the price tag,
This is a McLaren, but it's not a Senna. This is
No.
720.
720S.
Yeah,
Ooh.
there's your doors.
Yeah.
bud.
Inside
Yeah.
doors, yeah.
The car's relatively small from front to back.
Yeah, you can, with the McLarens, you can get the LT versions, which LT translates to long tail,
Mhm.
and that's where they'll extend a bit, and it's just more aerodynamic.
Man, this thing is so low to the ground. It's ridiculous.
I know. You're straight
Like
sitting on the
tilted
ground.
back almost as if it was a recumbent bicycle.
Yeah,
It's got an
Yeah.
emergency
The-
eject button. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
It
I
might.
should.
You see the red button on there?
Yeah. No, the McLarens are very
Yeah, right
cool.
there.
That's the ignition.
Yeah, I know.
And any other car, it's a start button.
Right.
Yeah.
Ignition.
Yeah, I've had the privilege to ride in one of these. I haven't driven a 720.
Look at that.
I've driven a 600,
Wow.
but not the 720S.
These wheels could be 30 grand. I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
seriously.
Easy,
And
Yeah.
easy. And a lot of the times, you know, people don't drive their supercars around a whole lot because maintenance on these cars is ridiculous.
Well, you really think they are worried about the maintenance?
No,
They-
but
Those
No,
that buy
no.
these.
some,
Just look at the.
some of them are, because that's
This is
A $5,000 oil change.
No,
This is almost a $300,000 car that's been in an accident, which is detrimental to its health
Right.
and its
Absolutely.
value. But it's still like you find one of these, you're spending $250,000, and you think they're worried about maintenance.
I mean, when annual maintenance runs about 50,000, I'd start to sweat a little bit.
I know
even if
you
spend-
would.
even if you spend 350.
I would
grand,
too. But
You're
like,
spending 350 grand on a
50
car.
a year just on oil changes and
Yeah.
tire rotations.
But
and stuff.
listen, that's all I'm saying is making a point, right? If you're going to buy one of these,
yeah,
you need to know this going in, and if it bothers you, if that 50 grand a
Don't
year
get the
bothers
car.
you,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the 10X method. You shouldn't be buying it if you can't buy 10 of them.
yeah.
You know, in a
this is
situation
a
like
different
that.
conversation with a Range
Yeah.
Rover.
Yeah.
Range Rover average maintenance is about 10 grand a year,
Mhm.
and it's not a supercar,
No,
Right.
but it is a $100,000 car,
Yeah.
and you know it's an SUV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
And so when people get them used, and they're like, "Well, I don't like working on it," I'm like, "You got the wrong car."
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're looking at a used Range Rover in general, you're looking at the wrong
Mm.
car.
Sorry,
Oh,
Range
no.
Rover owners.
Oh, no, this subject.
All right, Marcus, what are your best exotic cars? We're just talking best. And you guys out there on the internet want to spend big money, this is your guy to talk to. But here's what his list of best ones are.
Yeah, so I've got a lot. My top, for the most affordable. So we're going back to the performance cars that are still exotic. So the range probably 60,000 to 150,000. The new C8 Vet has got to be up there. It's got to be up there. It's 490 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque at 3,300 pounds.
Mhm.
It's got a great V8 motor.
You put that as number one?
For the
affordable. What's the
affordable
top
ones.
What's the top price range on one of these? I thought they got up to like 120.
That's kind of average range for
Right
one
now?
of them right now. Especially because they're year-long waits. You have to order them, and there's crazy dealer markups on pretty much any of these.
This car right here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've seen 40 grand markups just alone on these cars.
So we're talking about best exotic car up to about, we're talking about 2-seater, not family car,
Not family.
up to about
cars.
$150,000. This is your point.
That's my
Number
top
one.
one.
And why?
I love the motor. The 6.2 V8 is great. It's iconic from,
And it's been around a long time.
Yeah, I mean the LS motor in general from Chevy has been a flagship of their industry and their company for a very, very long time. I think the 5.7, so the 5.7 liter is a little bit better of a motor than the 6.2, but the 6.2 is still really great. It's a really well balanced car. I've driven a C8 and it's really, really well balanced.
Okay.
Yeah, my second one would probably be.
I'm writing it down, Marcus.
My second one, I would have to go with. Oh, this is so. I'd have to go with the Supra.
Toyota
The
Supra.
Toyota
We're
Supra.
not talking about an 85.
No, but
The new one.
yeah, the brand new ones.
Let me find a picture of that. Go ahead.
They've got a good motor from B&W, albeit, but it's a turbocharged 3-liter inline six. Produces 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque, and it weighs 3,400 pounds. I've driven one of these as well. These things handle remarkably.
Nice.
They're one of the best handling cars for something that only has 382 horsepower. If you like working on cars and modding cars, this is definitely something that you can mod and have push out over 1,000 horsepower. Without any trouble. And they look great. They sound great. This
right here.
Yeah. The one reservation I do have about the Supra is if you're going over 30 miles an hour, you can't drive with the windows down.
Right.
Because you would rupture your eardrums because of the way the aerodynamics flow through the car.
That's good to know, Marcus.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm going over 30 miles an hour to Costco.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll
So
learn
that's
it.
my one reservation. You shouldn't have the windows down if you're driving,
Look at all that
Anywhere.
carbon fiber. Wow.
Yeah, I love
Launch
this car.
edition. So that's, they're going to mark that up a lot.
Yeah, and the best thing about the Supra is you can get, high quality
That's
performance car for 60 grand.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's where, it really strikes bang for buck to me. 382 horsepower, you'll beat, if you take it to a track, you'll beat a lot of 911s, you'll beat some Corvettes. The suspension is tuned to perfection. The steering is tuned to perfection.
It's a nice looking car.
Yeah, they're phenomenal vehicles. So that's number two.
All right, what's number three? I'll look up that picture.
Number three, I'd have to go with the 911 Porsche 911 GT3.
I've had. Oh wait, the GT3.
Oh, yeah.
GT3.
Explain the difference between a regular 911 and a GT3.
Tuning and raceability, pretty much.
What about Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, horsepower. When we're looking at the GT3, from a regular 911, I believe the regular 911 turbos push out about 412 horsepower. When you go up to the GT3, you're looking at 502 horsepower on a car that only weighs 3,100 pounds.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's powerful. It's lightweight. They love to get
Check
sideways.
it out, people.
Oh,
Is this the one that Paul
the blue is
wrecked
gorgeous.
on the Fast and Furious guy?
Paul Walker?
Yeah. Is this the one they wrecked in?
He did.
This is the
die
car
in a GT3.
Well, they were talking about not even making this car anymore because it's so hard. It's squirrely.
It wants to kill you.
Yeah, like it's
It does.
difficult to. Damn. I mean, you get 911 guys and be just fine and spend $100,000, but like this car is probably going to cost you mid-3s or more.
Yeah, racing bucket seats.
And it might kill you.
Yeah. And what I do love about pause right there. Hold on.
You like this?
I love that. That is why, the Supra will come with that next year, but in a race car that still has a 6-speed transmission, almost unheard of. and I love that.
Oh, if for those of you out there what he's pointing at is not like I would say, oh, you're pointing at the yellow lines. No, he's pointing at the stick. It's a manual transmission.
Yes.
Most of us older guys like the automatics, and I would be like, man, I can't drive. I can drive it. I can drive it, but it's taxing. So I'll shut up. But yeah, this is beautiful. A GT3 is a. At first, I thought you were going to say 911. I was like, but you said
It
GT.
is a 911.
Yeah, but you said GT3.
GT3.
You can agree it's not the same
It's not
car.
the same.
Oh, yeah.
Brakes are
Not the same.
different.
GT3, baby.
Brakes are different. It's got those big old 3-piston brakes with this drilled
I can
rotors.
honestly say a GT, not a GT, but a 911 won't try to kill you.
No.
I've driven one of those around for a while, and it was powerful, but it wasn't scary.
Yeah.
And actually underwhelming. I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable for me. Once again, I'm tall. I'm too big. I don't fit in the car very well. But the GT3, I'm scared of that car.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, 500 horsepower. It weighs 3,100 pounds. It's all of that 500 horsepower and all of that torque goes straight to the rear wheels. So
Yeah.
it loves to get sideways. When you do drive it at high speed, it is better equipped, though. I will say.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going over 80, but
no, I'm talking about if you're going over 120.
Okay. Then
the,
you're just glued to the track.
the
road,
aerodynamics
like we
are-
normally drive to work.
Yes, exactly. They're I don't know about I drive that way. No,
He's
totally kidding. Totally kidding. I
For
do
all
not-
of you guys out there that want to get sports cars, we all have our specialties. Marcus, this is his thing. He likes sports cars. So
To be fair, I like cars in general. They don't have to be sports, but as a GT3
GT3 RS, is that even more?
yeah,
Ooh.
that thing is. So you take the GT3.
Oh, man, this is probably what they wrecked on Fast and Furious.
Yeah, you take the GT3, you add a turbocharger to the 4-liter 6-cylinder, and
Wow.
get another 50 horsepower. And yeah, the GT3 RSs, I don't believe they make right now.
I'll show you guys these pictures.
They
They're
make
not
the
very
GT2
good.
RS, which is just a little bit
There you
less
go.
of a car. But
It just looks more like, look at these lines. These pictures aren't the best. We're not going to click the buy now number 193.
No, but you see on
That's
the
a lot
fender
different
there,
looking
it's
car.
all aerodynamic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The arrow is so much different on the
Look at
on the
that.
RS than even just a regular.
This
GT3.
isn't just for looks.
No,
None of it.
that's for track purposes.
Those holes in the
Right.
side, all of it.
And the big vents in the side. On
Yeah.
the-
This is
going to the rear
2016
wheels.
with 11,000 miles on it. Couple $100,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice. What's number 4?
Number 4, the 400Z. The 400Z.
What?
I haven't driven one yet because they're few and
makes
far
that?
between. But 400 horsepower, 3,400 pounds, 350 pound-feet of torque. Still got a killer 6-speed transmission. It's just something that I've loved the Zs since the 300ZX. Actually, before then with the 240. The 240 was probably one of the more iconic cars in Nissan's lineup, and now the 400 is just so. Don't click on the yellow one. I was gonna say it's beautiful, and then you were about to click on the yellow one, and that's not beautiful.
Well, I want to click on one that you can actually buy. Like they have these tricked out ones in the pictures.
Yeah,
You said don't click on the
yeah.
yellow
No,
one?
you can get the blue.
All right, let's
Wow.
look at the blue.
My favorite
Yeah.
color, the orange.
The orange is nice. The yellow is the special edition, and it's ridiculously overpriced right now. I've seen $70,000 markups on a $70,000 car, which are the Zs.
400.
But when we're talking about affordability, power, and fun, the Z and the Super will encompass that greatly. They're beautiful cars.
Didn't we take one of these in one time?
This is a brand new model.
No, I don't mean
They
a brand
haven't
new
even
one, but-
become
The
available. to
350.
Might be
the
a
public.
350
It was
Z.
something like it. Maybe it was a 350Z. I just
Yeah.
remember it was a day that I had worn like
This.
some sort of like long flowing prairie dress, and we got one in, and I had to drive it to Tire
It was
World.
probably a 350Z.
It probably was. Yeah. It was
This is the
just-
400. So now you look at it a little closer. It looks, I can see similarities. Like all the way back. My buddy had a 240Z.
Yeah.
James Morris, if he's out there watching. Yeah, he had a 240Z.
240s are beautiful.
It was a Datsun.
Yep.
And so that, you know, Nissan bought Datsun, but like you can still see some of the back end of the car that still resembles the original lines of what they developed when they made this car. They always had the long front ends. My favorite one was the 93. You know, it was just a beautiful car. It had lights that were built in. It was interesting. But that's a nice car. So why is this number 4? Affordability. It's like what?
Affordability, power. You know, when I look at cars, I look at, I don't, you know, a lot of people are focused on miles per gallon right now and what they're getting miles per gallon.
Not supercar drivers are. No. They're like, hey, buddy,
I'm getting into that.
What's the gas mileage on this, Marcus?
I'm getting into that. I'm getting into that. But you know, when most
let's
people
point that out.
Yeah.
If you're worried about gas mileage or MPG, we need to stick with a minivan. We really don't need to be looking at maintenance. Yeah, we don't be looking at them.
This is not your category.
There are hybrid supercars, all right.
That is true.
But you know, like I was saying, you know, most consumers look at, you know,
MPG.
Yeah. I look at SPG or smiles per gallon.
Oh, that's he was trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Or a little jokey joke.
But that's all right.
Per gallon. So what are the smiles per gallon on the 400Z?
I mean, it's got a great
SMG. I'm gonna be saying that a lot.
It's got a great differential. It's got a carbon fiber drive shaft. It's a drift car. And what's more fun than drifting?
Go ahead and answer. Bonnie has a question.
What is drifting?
Drifting in, you know,
watch Too Fast, Too Furious. That's the one, right?
Tokyo
Drift.
Tokyo Drift. Number 3.
Yeah,
I've never seen that one.
I've seen all of them.
Oh yeah.
So drifting is when the back end of the car comes out and you maintain that power while you're counter steering. So have you ever watched the movie Cars, the Disney movie?
Nope.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
Well, you really are trying to explain it. It's when you slide around the track.
Yeah, when you
go
slide
to the curb
around.
and you drift around.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or if
Controlled
you
lack
maintain
of
your
control.
controlled lack of control. If you ever hear me talk about oversteer is a engineering term or physics term for drifting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when you get the car sideways and you maintain that for a long period of time.
Okay.
You typically, when you drift, you see big billows of smoke coming from the rear tires. It's
a lot of torque on these vehicles. They're pushing that torque hard, you know, upgrading them.
Yeah.
I'm interested in number 5. What you got?
Oh man. So we're getting into the more expensive stuff now.
This is number 5 for the stuff that up to 150,000.
I don't have any more for up to 150,000. These are 200 plus.
Okay.
My next couple.
So what's number 5?
Number 5. So these go up in price quite drastically. I gotta go with the Ferrari F8.
Oh wow, you went crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a.
You noticed that we started
car.
this podcast with. He said, I'm going to talk about the ones that are 60 to 70.
I did.
You got
the first car he said was 150. And I was like, oh, keep it at 150. And then all of these, he goes, I'm like, what's number 5? A Ferrari.
Yeah.
Okay. Here.
Now, it's a small class of cars.
We'll go to the R8. That's 175.
Ferrari R8?
No,
Audi
R8.
Oh, Audi. All right, let's pull it up because this is a car we potentially sell to people that we want this
Yeah,
car.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, R8. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah.
That's a 5.2.
That's a
2010.
That's a 5.2. You don't want the 5.2. You want the V10.
Right. We want to spend all the money.
There it is. The
Yeah.
V10
Let's look at this one.
V10 performance.
Uh,
Quattro. I mean, all-wheel drive. Oh, that one's only 2-wheel drive. But if it has the Quattro, that's all-wheel drive.
All-wheel
That's
drive.
what Quattro
Go ahead and
is.
tell them about it. I'm trying to find some pictures, but these pictures are bad.
Yeah, the Audi R8. I mean, it's a gorgeous car.
Oh yeah.
It's such a. I mean,
Man sharp.
how can you not feel like Tony Stark when you're hopping out of one of those?
So you introduced this car in
Iron Man.
Yeah, man.
Was it Iron Man or Avengers?
I think it was Iron Man 2. When Tony Stark actually drives the original R8.
Okay, let them see it.
And I've definitely seen one of these in town.
I've seen
Right
a couple of them. Yeah. Oh man, they're beautiful.
I'm sorry these pictures aren't the best, but this is an R8 2022.
It's got one of the best sounding engines
Mid-engine?
on the planet. It is mid-engine.
Yeah.
Mid-engine all-wheel drive.
That all-wheel drive is something.
I like that.
When you get the Quattro,
Oh, I
yeah.
like that too.
Their interior is very nice. It's their dual clutch transmission is beautiful.
Mm.
And automatic. I'm in love.
Yeah, they're relatively affordable when you're looking at something that has a ridiculous amount of power. So the V10s. So I believe this is a V10. The V10s have 602 horsepower.
Look at the trunk space, guys, or frunk space.
Yeah. Maybe a suitcase or a backpack in there.
Purse.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're trying to go get groceries, this is not the car for you.
No, not at all. But yeah, for something that you can get used, or you used to be able to get used for about 100, with like 12,000 miles on it, and it has 600 horsepower. That's a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah,
Not this car. No, don't call on this one, guys. For
No,
100.
the 22s we're probably looking at about 180, 175.
Yeah.
But
just over driving class.
man, they're gorgeous.
Sell your house and
Yeah, the V10s are one of the best sounding motors in the world.
I've heard
in
it.
my opinion. The scream of a V10 is just beautiful. I love the R8s. I really do.
That's when the Aston Martins come in.
So check this out. That's your top 5. The best exotic SUV. We could argue this, but I've been reading on this. Aston Martin and Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm.
But look at this bad boy right here. This actually is my favorite luxury car. Right here, the Lamborghini
SUV.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. I would say Urus.
Urus.
Marcus would know. I wouldn't, but Urus.
I don't know. However,
Look at that bad boy right
you got to
there.
add an Italian accent to it. I'm not good at that.
Eruz.
Yeah, that sounded good. There you go, Bobby.
Eruz. There was that a z.
Look at that.
Not a fan of the way they look.
I am.
So you gotta find.
I'm a big fan. I mean, it looks like every other sport utility out there, but it's cooler.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I do like the way the Aston Martin SUV looks better, but when we're talking about performance, the Lambo will smoke it.
this
Yeah,
is the
of
biggest.
course.
This is the best performing.
The
Yeah,
performing
well,
SUV.
and
yes.
that's there's no questions about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
No
I can argue
contest.
with you
Look
about
at
the
this
styling all
bad
day,
boy
but
right here.
when we're
Going
talking
to
about
Costco.
performance,
Besides the
Oh,
electric,
hey.
when the electric people want to bring the Model X into this one,
yeah, that's
but they can't keep up with this
No,
one.
it's not even close.
not even remotely close.
Well, I don't know about 0 to 60.
0 to 60
0 to
will
60
probably
it'll
get
win.
it, but
The electric will get it, but like,
But after that, yeah.
this has better suspension. It's lighter.
and look at this interior. when
Oh,
we get
yeah.
there. Like this thing is
It's
luxury.
Yeah, the insides are nice.
Now, my best exotic SUV
Look at that. Woo!
is the Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Oh yes, sir.
That's what
That's
you like?
the
Yes,
that's the
sir.
top of the line luxury SUV out there.
Okay, how do you spell Cullinan?
Cullinan. Cullinan.
Cullinan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
The base model. We can buy one of these for you, Bobby.
For a good old 200 and something. What?
Yeah.
440.
I'm about to say they start at 300. I was being
I've heard
generous.
that a lot. They might start at 300 new.
They
but
start
you
at
can't get
300.
one
Right.
for like 2 or 3 years,
No.
and so you have to buy it used, and so you're looking at spending $500,000. Like,
Yeah, they're beautiful. I mean, you got leg room for us big
let's
people.
show people what you're talking about. Look at that bad boy right there.
Yes.
I love. Have
They
you seen
got
how the
horsepower.
doors open?
It's a Range
Yeah.
Rover from the side.
Well, yeah, it's British.
Well, yeah.
The British make everything look.
It's a Rolls Royce.
Mm.
With range can we wouldn't.
Big
know.
inside,
Oh,
yeah.
my lord!
I mean,
Look at
have
the
you seen
roof.
the Phantoms?
Oh yeah, and
the
they
Phantoms have
those are actual the stars. You know, they light up. Probably.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, I mean, this is a car that you pay somebody else to drive you in.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
This
Reclining
is not a car,
rear seats.
Yeah, this is not a car you
Oh,
pay to
yeah.
drive yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the
Oh,
little
yeah.
trays.
tray
I
cockpit.
mean, yeah.
Airplane that,
Yeah,
This is nice.
that's that.
Look at the
that's,
carpet,
That's
how
my
it's
dream
vacuumed.
truck.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I want it looking like that every day.
That's my dream truck right there.
Man, how the doors open on the Rolls are some of my favorites.
I can't see it.
They're
Look at
gonna
that roof.
show it. Yeah, they're gonna have to show it.
Look at the wheels that are scuffed.
Mm.
Are they scuffed?
It better
No.
not be scuffed.
it's a
For a
secondhand car.
$440,000.
Yeah.
I'm about to say smack them around when you bring them in.
So this goes down in there.
Yeah,
by
no,
power, right?
nobody can steal those anymore.
Yeah.
Once you touch it, If
It
it's
goes
locked,
away.
it just drops.
Yep.
Cullinan.
Yeah.
So if
Wow.
you scroll up
The
to
doors,
the
they're
doors,
going to open it. They gotta open
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
See the
you went
doors.
too
Oh, he was heading the right direction.
I was going down here.
Yeah, it's starting to
I
happen.
didn't see any doors.
The doors aren't open, but
Oh.
so you see how the handles are close together.
Yeah.
So they open.
Oh, it's coach doors.
Coach
Yeah.
doors.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got you. It's coach
Mhm.
doors, so they open suicide doors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think they would show a picture of that
I mean,
because
yeah.
it's real good looking. That's what you want. When you're
Yeah.
not driving this thing, you're just riding it. You
Yeah,
wanna be
I mean,
able to get in the
anybody who
back.
buys a Rolls is not driving it themselves.
Yeah, they didn't open
Right.
it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's real unfortunate. They don't show a side view of it open.
But no, I when we're talking about looks, like, and
I've not seen one of these on the road.
no,
Me either.
I've seen a Urus in
Yeah.
town.
I mean,
Yeah.
certain places. I
I've
mean,
seen a
Florida,
couple
I
of
see
them.
them on the road. When you're out in Florida, maybe California, I've seen
Yeah,
one or
you
two.
go to the places where the money's bigger.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're in like LA or
Vegas.
Miami or Vegas, you'll see these.
Yeah.
But not in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
However, I've seen a Pagani Huayra, which none of you probably know what that is.
I don't know what that is. That's some
Um,
kind of a horse.
No,
I'm kidding.
it's a supercar.
Okay.
Bugattis,
like
yeah.
it's a $1.4 million car.
That's the thing. Bugatti's like you jump way up there
Yes.
with
Well,
you get into the mills.
and when you talk about Bugatti, I mean they've got like 4 models that all just get
What is that?
That's a Bugatti.
That's
Yeah.
a 29.
1929.
Yeah, the old school.
29.
Wow.
Only 60 grand, Bonnie.
Did you know Lamborghini started out making tractors?
60 grand, so
Did
you
not
can keep
know
it in the
that.
garage and wash it every weekend.
Lamborghini.
A new job.
Yeah, Lamborghini started as a tractor company, and then Enzo Ferrari drove by Lamborghini's house and said in a Ferrari, and he's like, "You'll never be able to afford one of these if you just
Wow.
keep making tractors."
Ah.
And then he started making cars to compete with Ferrari.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'll make
Now,
you
there's a
mad.
grudge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew there was power in them somehow.
Yes.
yeah. So they started Lamborghini started off making tractors. Now they're making $400,000 SUVs.
Wow.
Mhm.
All right. Well, cool. We're going to switch it up a little bit because Bonnie's going to take over and talk about paint finishes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
actually, it's not a non sequitur. I mean, like what happens is that people will ask about finishes. Like I saw Bentley last week or 2 weeks ago. I was in Atlanta and it had a matte finish, which you don't usually see.
Right.
So, so the question is like, how can you change the color, or what kind of finishes can you get? And those matte finishes, you can get them these days on nicer cars. Mercedes has some. And I don't know if you guys seen them with other
Porsche
Porsche,
lets you
yeah.
paint a
Porsche
car.
definitely, yeah.
Dodge, the Challengers, you can get them in
Yes.
map.
Yes.
Yeah, that's but if you want one and your car doesn't come with it, what do?
You wrap it.
Wrap it.
That's,
You can get it wrapped.
yeah, so that's something that I mean I know that we just had this long discussion about horsepower and all of those things, but to me what usually appeals in a car is the way it looks and whether it's comfortable or not. So buying a less powerful car and wrapping it.
You're
in
not
some of
alone there.
those-
I'm in the
yeah.
same camp.
Me too.
Right,
So-
yeah.
Me too.
Well, so getting it wrapped is expensive to
Yeah.
get it professionally done.
It's not as
Not
expensive
something
as
you
people
can buy
think,
at
though.
Walmart
It's
and do.
a couple of $1,000s. It's not like I mean I know that's expensive, but it's
Yeah.
not. But sometimes it's $5,000 to get the car in one of those colors or
Yeah.
one of those finishes. So it can be cheaper to wrap it.
And there's a lot of room for
Absolutely.
error in a nice paint job, and the quality of work that needs to be had in that situation. Wrap is probably a better option.
I
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
thought about that.
And what I like about the wraps is the fact that they're pretty interchangeable. You can peel them off pretty quickly, and they kind of serve as like a
Paint protector.
PPF, a paint protection
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So the original manufacturer paint. So either when you go to sell the car,
Mhm.
or you just want something different on your car, you can just peel the wrap right off, and the paint underneath is still solid.
Yep.
And pretty much unscathed. And then you can either get a new wrap or sell it with the original paint, and you won't have any issues there.
Or you can buy a Fisker.
What's that?
They
Is that
come.
kind of scissors?
I don't know if one's on here. Have you guys
Like
ever
with
seen
good
that?
sewing scissors?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Boy, that's probably the best paint job I've ever seen. It's very beautiful. I don't know if it's even paint.
Midnight
Fisker
purple on the
Karma.
R34 GTRs.
Yes.
Best paint ever.
It's like
Midnight purple.
chrome. Like the whole
Fisker-
car was chrome.
Fisker Karma.
Yeah, the Karma,
Yeah.
but they were like chrome. Like they don't have one on here for us to show, but
Mm.
like literally looks
chrome car,
The
yeah.
entire car looks
I've
chrome.
seen some
Oh.
chrome wraps,
Mhm.
and I just don't. I don't
It's
know
not the
how. Like in the middle of like at night, I feel like it'd be cool
Right.
to
But
drive
in the
around.
daytime, it's just
but
like,
in the
you'd
exactly.
be blind and
I feel
everybody going by.
Right. I'd be like, no way, I'm driving
No
that
way.
around during the day, like blinding everybody and
Yeah,
myself.
you're gonna need
Well,
extra
that's an interesting
insurance for
point,
that.
that about the wraps is you can get them so they look like anything you want.
Anything.
That-
Anything,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Any
just print them
design.
for you, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a
Right.
Wonder Woman car around town.
Yeah,
Hmm.
do that.
There's there used to be he got a cease and desist letter from Disney. But there's somebody I follow on Instagram. He did a Lightning McQueen from Cars
He did that.
on a BRZ, so the
Yeah, it looks
older
similar.
version of my car. And yeah, Disney actually sent him a cease and desist because apparently Lightning McQueen was based on the 86 in the BRZ, and it was too much like the original Lightning McQueen. So now he wrapped a Corvette in Lightning McQueen stuff. So that's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
That-
yeah,
For our Southern people, then that reminds me of the donks, or what we call the old school, like Chevy Caprices and classics. We used to do that with a theme back in the day with huge rims in the South. It's a Southern thing.
And candy paint.
Yeah, candy paint.
Yeah.
You'll have a theme, whether you wanted SpongeBob or Lightning McQueen or Twix. You know, it was all kind of things on the side of the vehicles.
I grew up, one guy had a car that was purple, and he wore purple all the time.
Yep.
It's like Prince was hot back then.
Yep.
I mean, one of my favorite colors on a car is the midnight purple.
Yes,
from
me too.
from the 90s on the R34 GTRs.
Yes.
Man,
We don't know
a
what that is,
color.
man.
That is a beautiful color.
It's
oh,
R34 GTR.
yeah, so it's a sports car. For 90s have the Supra and the GTR that were really iconic in the 90s thanks to Fast and Furious. Those cars were really well known because they could produce a lot of power from the stock block.
Oh, I remember that car now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just one of the prettiest paints. It glows in different lights. Sometimes it has a gold hue. Sometimes it has a blue hue with the purple. Beautiful, beautiful color. That's probably what I'd wrap a car in.
I wanted to get my car wrapped, but that was so that people could see it. I was going to get it in like neon orange.
well, I'll put it out there. I'll wrap my car if someone's paying for it. So you can put your paint shop on there. You can put whatever your store is. Advertise on my vehicle.
It's a business ad on your car.
Advertise, and people do that as well. You know, they'll pay you to wrap your car in their business.
Yeah, absolutely. When I work with a lot of like fleet companies who need fleet vehicles, like restoration companies or plumbers or anything like that, they require white vehicles because they're easier to get their wraps on.
Right.
For the wrap professional, whatever you would like to call them. So yeah, apparently white's the easiest thing to wrap and use put vinyl decals on and everything, but companies do that all the time.
All the time. So
we got another riveting topic since we're done. Okay, that's enough. I can't talk exotic cars anymore. How about you, Bonnie?
I think
We've had enough.
Talked out.
me and Marcus will talk offline.
Yeah.
I'm tapping out. But we have one more topic that Bonnie wanted to talk about. Bonnie, take it away. Extended
This is
warranties.
the extended warranties. So I wanted to talk about this because as the economy is changing and people are keeping their cars longer, that having an extended service agreement, which is basically an extended warranty, can really help you keep your car in good shape without having the problem that people run into is that they have these unexpected high cost bills from fixing their car. Because sometimes with the newer cars, something like the push button start or the screens, they can be really expensive to fix. And we sell well priced, just like not crazy expensive warranties. And I just thought that would be an interesting topic of what when do people find themselves using those warranties, and what would be a good car to put them on?
I think, when you're financing cars for a long period of time, meaning 5 or 6 years, and with the price of these cars, if your budget is tight, you get a car that's still under warranty, let's say a car with 30,000 miles, and you're going to finance it for 5 or 6 years, and your budget's already tight because it's a $600 payment or whatever. You should consider it, because as time moves on, these cars always get older and they always start to break, and at the most inopportune time. So unfortunately, I don't think they're necessary for everybody. I don't think it's a one shoe fits all and everybody should buy one. But I think that, and it depends on what you're buying. If you're buying certain vehicles that you're trying to keep the car 10 years and you can get an 8-year warranty, great. You might want to consider that, because this could help offset
Maintenance costs.
maintenance, not
It's
maintenance, but
it's
repairs.
but the thing is that sometimes if you buy the warranty, if you buy an 8-year warranty, you might save more on, like, it might cost you less to buy the warranty than the cost that you're saving on the repair.
Yeah,
for
what
some
she's
kinds of
saying is
repairs.
costs are affordable on these things. It's
Yeah.
not as bad as people think. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
what we are noticing is we use some specific companies that actually cover the safety and technology in the cars. So, backup cameras. Lots of companies don't cover backup cameras, blind spot monitors,
Mhm.
lane keep assists,
A lot of
rain
electronics
sensing
in
wipers.
general.
A lot of that stuff is just not covered. So if you're considering it, I think you're right. It's definitely something that a lot of our clients consider. Not for everybody, but definitely if you're trying to keep the car a long period of time.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
if you've got a loan that's longer than the warranty.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
another
which most
time
people
that-
do.
Yeah, because you don't want to end up having, you don't want to end up with a $500 payment and a $2,000 repair bill in the same
Yeah.
month. That's not
a
a
It
lot.
good
puts
situation
people
to be in.
into financial hardship because
Exactly.
if you blow a rod or let's say 6 years goes by and you got a 7-year warranty,
Mhm,
and it throws a rod or the engine transmission stops working, people they have to make a decision:
mhm.
Mhm.
let the car go, stop making payments, or fix the car. So you can do a couple of things. You can keep a credit card for that stuff.
Yeah.
$5,000-$10,000 credit card that you're having a safe. If you don't have that type of disposable income, then looking at a warranty is definitely something you should do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think warranties are important when you're looking at a used car, right?
Mhm.
Because we're seeing a lot of more used cars go out to our clients because new cars just aren't being produced quick enough, and a lot of our clients recently have had either accidents or something bad happen to their car to where they need something rather quickly.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at something with, even 40,000 miles on it, more than likely it's only got 20,000 miles left of the original manufacturer warranty. And your loan, like you guys were talking about, your loan's going to be probably 5-6 years. You'll want the extended warranty. Even if it is a Toyota or a Honda, I know those we talk about those being bulletproof to a lot of our clients, but they still are machines, and machines break.
Yeah, they've got moving parts.
Mhm.
It could break.
It's
No
just
matter
peace of
what.
mind, just like any
Yeah.
other insurance
Absolutely.
product. It's an insurance product.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's what people forget about. It's like, guys, this isn't a fix-all, but it's like an umbrella policy for if you have an issue that's unforeseen that you didn't budget for, and now you don't have to go put it on credit because you've already paid for it up front.
Right.
Exactly.
So you can
Yeah.
get that stuff covered.
Yeah.
It has the effect of, like, sometimes people will buy a new car suddenly because they don't want to repair the old car. And that's not always the best thing to do because you might not be ready. You might not have the right amount of money. So people will sometimes go from like one old car to another old car because they had to make a decision very quickly. And it's not necessarily a good financial strategy.
Absolutely.
So an extended service agreement can protect you against some of that and give you time to plan.
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely preaching to the choir here. I think most people think it's just a profit center. Yes, we make profit on extended warranties, but it's not. It doesn't keep the business going. It's just really for people to have an option to protect themselves if something goes wrong.
Absolutely.
That's why I always talk about leasing, because you stay under warranty
Yeah.
the whole time.
Well, that's what we used to do. We used to talk about leasing all the time because you could lease a car for $350
And you could
a
get
month,
one
and
in a
you can't
week.
do it anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So we've had to find some other way to protect our clients from those kinds of financial unexpected problems.
Mhm.
I mean, if your car is getting older and it's still, you can't buy a warranty for existing issues.
No, just like.
But if your
any
car's
other
getting
insurance.
older and you're looking at the prices and you don't have time to wait and you're like, I don't want to buy a car this year, you could look at your vehicle and purchase an extended warranty now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Even if you had the car 4 or 5 years, like you could look at it. It's nothing wrong with getting a quote from Bonnie. She can let you know exactly what it is. We use a company called Ally. They've been around a long time. They're GMC's financial arm, so it's really good. Yeah, I recommend them a lot. Anything else you want to talk about with the warranties?
No, that's. I think I've said everything I've got.
So we're going to go into debating soon. I think we should debate on this show.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You know,
good.
Let's
because
do
I
it.
think we
Something
grow
like
from
that.
it. Like
Yeah.
we grow
Fun.
from debate. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I don't want to have a podcast where everybody's just regurgitating what I'm thinking
Right.
about leasing or whatever. It's
Nobody
like,
wants that. No.
Yeah.
this is exactly what I want. I want him to stand up for himself.
And you reach that larger audience base because there are other people that are having certain questions and certain, difference of opinions, and they want to have that advocate on screen.
Yeah, and
That's
I always
asking
tell
those
people I'm
questions.
not always right, and you don't
Right.
have to do it.
Yeah.
But I I think a healthy debate would be good. Now, I'm going to be out of town next week. Bonnie is heading up the podcast. These guys will still be joining you next week. I'll be watching from Florida.
To
No
make sure we do
pressure or
it. Yeah.
anything.
The one day they'll show up next week, but that's okay.
The cat's away.
But I think in 2 weeks, let's pick some topics that we can debate.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's us two against you two or whatever. But I think debate is healthy.
Yeah.
It just helps. It spurs thinking. It also helps with critical thinking. And so
thinking on your feet.
And what we want to do, the more you debate, is the closer you get to the truth.
Yeah.
Like, this is what really needs to happen. So I'd like to talk about that.
But
You
no
guys
name
think about
calling or swearing, or I'll scold you all.
We're not.
None of that.
Nope.
Yeah. So if you guys, thank you for joining us. Anybody have anything else before we check out?
Thanks for staying through my rambles.
Oh wait, this dude, if you're into the supercar stuff, he just started a new YouTube channel called Backseat Drivers.
Yes.
The Backseat Drivers. So you can find that on YouTube. Marcus Morgan will be doing a video how many times a month?
Once a week, every Friday at 5:30, we'll be going live to talk about really just cars in general, Formula One, motorsports, things like that. So
Okay.
Cool.
Great. So yeah, you can check him out at that time once a week. Supercars, the Backseat Drivers. So great. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'll be gone next week. They'll be here, but we'll see you really soon. Thank you.
hey guys.
Bye.